Hi, it's me for Let's Talk Life. All right, so this is a little different for me because I'm actually going to have a little bit of a script. Check me out, right? So I'm going to start with saying, hey, it's your girl Shantae J, and I want to thank you for joining me tonight for Let's Talk Life. Now, during this time with me, we will discuss a topic and I will share with you my own personal approach and kind of like grounded in life lessons and things for you to consider. Tonight, I will share my experience with health and the importance of knowing your body physically, emotionally, and mentally. The thing about health is it's a conversation that, of course, we're talking about in different ways. The three things that I'm going to talk about tonight is the physical, the emotional, and the mental. So I'll start back with the physical. The physical part is really important to consider, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why. So for me, in this Let's Talk Life episode, physical became, it has always been a thing, but it wasn't until about 2 years ago that it was a huge thing. And so what happened for me back in 2016 was I had recently left a job. And before that though, I had gone and did my little health checkup. And in doing that, I had discovered that I had fibroids. Now, for me at the time, 2 years ago, it was a lot. It was a lot because it was something that I didn't know about at the age then of 31. And I was afraid because what was told to me was that they were so bad and so huge that I should probably consider having children like ASAP. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And in doing that and having that conversation, a lot of fear happened. And in that fear, I didn't really consider, the time that it was going to take for me to really come to terms with being diagnosed with fibroids. Now, you can look it up, and we'll talk more about that in a sec regarding fibroids. But at the time, my place of thinking around health had a lot to do with my back, right? So my back was hurting. I kept experiencing back pains, and I've experienced back pains for a very long time. The thing around this, though, was I was in Chicago, and the chiropractor was like, you should get checked out. I was like, what? I had just gotten an MRI on my lower back, and she was like, I see something and I think you should get a pelvic MRI. And so I was stunned. Of course, got back to New York, got the pelvic MRI, and that's when it was discovered that I had fibroids. The thing about my fibroid positioning that I didn't realize at the time was it was hitting me in my spine, right? And I didn't see a visual, like I didn't see the image. I just went to the doctor or doctors, had them talk to me about it. And the two doctors that had seen were like, we got to do surgery. That's it. So I went on this quest of, okay, I'm going to go the natural way. I'm going to work out. I'm going to lose weight. Yeah. No. The thing that I didn't consider was that in having the fibroids, they were growing. And over time, they had grown to a point where it was impacting my back to the point of debilitation. So I would have muscle spasms that were crazy. And it was just sometimes it was unbearable. And of course, I'm like, yeah, I'll just take some painkillers or I'll just let it be. I need to stretch or, I'll just move real slow. No. Over time, they grew, actually. And in growing, what happened was that it kept getting closer and impacting my spine. So mind you, this is over 2 years. And your girl was acting like she was all like cool about it. But after a while, I started getting frustrated. Again, talking about the physical part. So I was gaining weight and I couldn't lose it because every time I would go to work out and I'm strong, right? So I'm excited because I'm like, I'm strong. I would hurt myself. Yeah. And in hurting myself, it would then lead to muscle spasms. And it would also lead to just me being out and not being able to really explain what was happening to me. So let's flash forward to now, 2018. So at the top of the year, I had gotten fed up because I was tired again on the physical part. I wasn't losing weight. I was always in pain. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go and get them checked again. See if something had happened, see if something had shifted, etc. Mind you, 2 years ago, I had no idea what fibroids were. Over time, I found out that so many women, especially women of color, have experienced them. Note to self, get checked out. One thing that was said to me around my fibroid development was having painful cycles. So painful periods, not a good thing. Not a good thing, go get it checked out. And sometimes there are symptoms though where you might not even feel pain. For me, I felt the pain and it definitely was on my spine. So at the top of the year, I had gone through this thing of self-journey, self-reflection about my life and really my health. And I was just tired of gaining weight. Like, I'm like, yo, I just can't lose weight because every time I try to do something from CrossFit to going to the gym to even having a personal trainer, I'm in pain and I don't like that. Like, it hurts. Not fair. So in not thinking, in thinking too much, actually, I started feeling that, it was time for a change. And again, I'm telling you, if there's something that you have in your body, it feels painful, go get it checked out. Go see a doctor, go do it, because there's nothing more beautiful than knowing. Knowing is beautiful, and I'm telling you this. And I'm telling you this because, again, it impacted me in having fibroids on a whole nother level, right? So we're going to talk about the emotional and mental part. But right now, the physical piece, again, in like not being able to work out. Like, I know I could do this move. I know I could drop it down. I know I could do some squats. But then I get into a position and try to lift something and Exactly. Not good. So at the top of this year, I had committed myself to this journey of wellness. So shout out to living in Brooklyn. It had exposed me to a lot of like wellness practitioners and things and doing things the natural way. And especially just taking care of my body and really wanting to know like, what am I putting in my body? So the nutritional part, but really what am I doing to support my physical health? So at the top of the year, while I was going through this conversation around fibroids, I was like, you know what? I want to have children. Yes. Crazy enough, I love children. I love the kids. Shantae, a lot of kids. But I always felt like, I'll be a great auntie and I work on my godmama situation. But mama, I'm going to be a great mama, but I created all these excuses. I created excuses because at one point I was told when I was younger that I wasn't going to be able to have children. So I allowed that to be the thing. I allowed that to be the excuse for why I was afraid. And actually, I just didn't want to know. So at the top of the year, I decided, okay, I want to figure out what this is about. I'm getting older. What do I need to do? I need to go get checked out. So I needed another MRI done. But before that, I had felt a lump in my breast. Girls, guys, kings and queens, listen to your girl. It was heavy. Like, it was so heavy for me. Here's why. I'm approaching 33. And at the age of 33 is when my mom, Marlene Edwards, had found out that she had breast cancer. Now, this is a major thing due to the fact that my mom is no longer here with us physically. And breast cancer really hit heavy to the point of like just not knowing, right? Not having the conversations with her and having all of these health complications in dealing with the fibroids. I was in my feels, right? And so at the top of the year, I kept thinking like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Now I got a lump. You got to be kidding me. I got a lump in my breast? No. Let me get that checked out. Did I go? No. I kept feeling on it and it was like, what is that? Kept feeling on it and it was like, what is that? Again, putting off my health, putting off my physical health, allowing it to be excuses because what? I was afraid. Not fair. Because the longer you wait, the more and more afraid you're going to be. So do it afraid. Eventually, I went through this whole moment, y'all, like March, because it was getting closer to my mom's birthday in April. And I'm like, yo, like I'm feeling this lump. I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna be. I'm hecka emotional. Like I was so emotional this year as it was approaching my mom's birthday than I've ever been. And I know a lot of it had to be with me being a woman and not really having that relationship with my mother, but understanding that I have other women out there. But it's just, something about, the OG, especially my mama, yeah. Health. So fast forwarding to, again, talking about the importance of health. And for me personally, in going through, knowing I have fibroids, a lot of them, by the way, and then feeling some type of lump in my breast, going and having all these feels. And on top of that, y'all, doing the most, doing what? Being busy. So I kept putting off, needing to get an MRI, knowing it was important, putting it off. Need to go get my breast checked, feeling something weird, putting it off, until finally my birthday had come around and I had decided, you know what, but right before my birthday that I would go get tested. So I went to get the breast exam and it turned out to be negative. However, I did learn that I was feeling something in my breast and it was extra tissue. Ding, ding, ding. Who didn't know that? Me. Why? Because I didn't get checked. Fortunately, I'm glad I did get checked and, was able to have that moment. But your girl was going through it. I was going through it because I was scared. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And really, again, not having my mom around to talk to was really weighing on me. So did the breast exam, did another MRI. Now, specifically, I did two things to check my fibroids this year. I got an ultrasound, which showed the image, but it wasn't really as clear. And then I went to get another pelvic MRI. I was afraid. Mind you, again, I've never seen the images. So finally, in August or so, July, August, I went to the doctor and I saw the image. To see my spine and to see the fibroids pushing on my spine, your girl was in so many moments, right? And then I had a conversation with the doctor. Now, there were 3 doctors in the room, right? It was the main OBGYN and 2 other doctors to talk to me about what was going on. And the thing about health and the importance of getting checked is always asking questions. Something I learned from my mom, and understanding that it's important that you know, and it's also important that you ask as many questions as you can. Why? Because that's your body. It's your body, and you have every right to ask those questions. So when you go in, get prepared. Always have some type of questions to ask. Don't get lost too much in the internet. Come with questions. Come asking. So when I was in the room, and I was in there by myself, and they told me and they showed me the image, your girl's heart broke. Because the niggas kept talking about it. And it was talking about it in a way that made me feel a little uncomfortable. But the fact was that what I was experiencing with my fibroids, what I was experiencing with my back, what I've been experiencing with my entire body is all connected. Ding, ding, ding. Duh, right? Yeah, I know. But if you don't check, you don't know. And because I waited for so long, the fibroids have gotten so big that if I don't remove them, it's going to continue to hurt my back, which goes back to if my back hurt, then I can't work out, then I can't lose weight. Here's the other conversation too. The reality that they're so large and in a space where I might have to get a hysterectomy. Now, for me, again, as I just said, being in a space of ready to have children, have some little Shantae J's running around here, you know what I mean? Shout out to the chocolate babies. It hurt. Because to know that was an option, to know that what I've been carrying for so many years, it's something that I didn't even know. Mind you, I'm 33. I started having intense cycles at like 21, 22. And I never knew, right? I never knew to ask the doctor. The doctors never asked me. I was having a conversation with someone and we both had found out through another doctor, not our like main doctor, but not like the general doctor, but a specialist. So that time when I went to the chiropractor in Chicago and she told me to get checked out, That's how. If I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known that fibroids apparently impacts so many women, especially African American women, in ways that are like no other. And the conversation when asking, okay, well, why didn't you do anything about it? I mean, I could deal with it. I mean, it's nothing. For me, it's something. Currently, I have one sitting on my bladder, so it makes me go to the bathroom a lot. Then I have the other one that's like, bam, in my back, so it impacts my spine, which causes me to be uncomfortable a lot. And back pain ain't no joke. And so being on the other side of this now, with today actually marking 2 months, in 2 months, I'll have my procedure surgery. And since then, I actually had a date that was October 1st, and then I shifted it. But booking the date and making the date had changed the game. And when I was in the room, when I had found out with the 3 doctors, I felt cold. I felt like alone. I was sad because when they left out the room, y'all, like, I like teared up and I cried a little bit because the thought of something that I had been dealing with for so long, but didn't freaking check it out because I didn't know. And the importance of knowing is beautiful is so important. I'm telling you this, it's so important. And I want you to know that when it comes to your health, when it comes to the physical piece, if you're freaking out, that's okay. Go get it checked out. Because I also think about all of what has happened from this, right? So if you look up fibroids, you look up the information, it says a whole lot of something. Where it stems from, what it's caused from. And your girl got, of course, in my feels again and thinking about, going on this self-care journey and who I have been and who I have been becoming and what I've been working through. It has a lot to do with me taking on so much, taking on. And especially as women, we take on so much, especially Black women, so much. And it becomes heavy. And it's unfair. And we think we handling, because your girl thought she was handling it, y'all. When you see me, you see calm. When you see me, you see chill. When you see me, you see patient. However, what was happening, and I believe, is that energy was just transferring into my body. It was transferring and creating where the fibroids were growing and growing and growing and growing. And to be honest, it hurts to think about it, but it's still a journey that I'm getting through, right? Forgiving myself for all the moments where I neglected myself to go get checked. When I'm having painful periods, but I'm thinking, isn't this just what you deal with? No, it's not. So I'm telling you, when it comes to your life, it's important that you get checked out internally. Make sure, just go get a checkup. Just go figure out. It doesn't have to be, no, I'm not going to say that. And whatever it is, make sure you check it out. If it's something that you're feeling that's weird in your body, if it's something that seems a little bit off, if you do a little Google search and you check something out and it isn't working out and you're like, I got questions, go get it checked out. And for those of us where insurance is a question mark, there are ways. If you got to go to your local hospital, you got to go to your local ER, you got to figure it out some type of way, figure it out. Find a clinic, figure it out. Just know. Get tested for whatever it is that's happening for you because it's important. And so that's what I'm going to spend right now when talking about the health part when it comes to the physical health. The physical health and what's important and how knowing is beautiful. And I kid you not, you are beautiful and you deserve to know. And so, and for me, the physical health of, again, my back and the fibroids and the breast filling and the lump and not really doing it in urgency, baby. You got to move quick. You got to get urgent about it. When it comes to your physical health, get urgent about it. Get urgent. Why? Because why not? You don't deserve to sit in pain. You don't deserve to sit in hurt. You don't deserve to sit in question mark. No, stop that. Okay? I'm telling you this. Today or tomorrow, when the doctors open up, make an appointment. Figure it out. Make an appointment. Make it a priority because you matter. You matter, and so does your body. The second thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to health is emotional. Of course, in going through all of the physical health pieces and what I had endured, a lot of what kept happening for me going in and out was this feeling, your girl was in a feels, like I told you already in explaining the story, is that I kept feeling a sense of emotions just coming, waves and waves and waves. And you know what your girl tried to do? Handle it. I'm good. I cried out. I'll be cool about it. Let me journal about it. Let me reflect about it. But it wasn't really the positive. Let me take that back. For me, it was a way to cope when I talk about emotions. However, there was more to that. There's no way that I'm feeling all these type of ways and I'm not talking to anybody. Yeah, your physical health. Your physical health, it connects to your emotional health. Your emotional health is really around understanding yourself. How are you as a person? Are you emotional? Do you get in your feels? If you do, it's okay. If you're a person who gets in your feels and you get emotional about things, do it. If you cry from time to time, do it. In the end, find out why. Okay? So I want you to find out why when it comes to your emotional health and keeping it balanced. And that leads me to the last piece about health. I spent a lot on the physical part because this emotional health also deals with the mental health. So there's the emotional mental piece. And I am proud to say that your girl finally said yes to herself again, a sense of urgency. I'm telling you, I've been on a self-care situation, a journey that I committed to some time ago, but like July of this year, I stepped into something different. I allowed myself to really say, okay, Shantae, what do you need? What do you need to be healthy? What do you need to be physically healthy? What do you need to be emotionally healthy? What do you need to be mentally healthy? And in that, my answer, I already knew what the answer was. I got, God on my side, 'cause that's my homie, you know what I'm saying? Whomever you have in your life that is bigger than you, shout out to them. For me, it's God. And rocking with him all this time, he been holding me down. And he was like reminding me, I need you to go get a therapist. But wait. Here's the thing. I had one like 2 years ago. We didn't work out. Fine. And then I stopped. And I'm dealing with so many things in my mind emotionally where I'm thinking about things and wondering about things and talking to my friends. I love my friends. I love you all by all means. Yet it was more around, and talking to my friends and family, it had a lot to do with wanting to figure things out for myself. So having an unbiased opinion supported me, or I wanted it to support me into my next level. And so the emotional and mental part, the mental piece is really around, for me, this is for me, in thinking like, what's my mindset, right? We talk about the growth mindset. We can talk about the fixed mindset, but really, what am I considering when I think about the mindset for me? When I'm thinking about how am I thinking about life? How am I thinking about my past? How am I moving through trauma? Yeah, you done had something. You everybody's story is different, but you got a story, and your story deserves to be told in a way that supports your mental and emotional strength. That wellness, that well-being, you deserve to let it out. You deserve to talk about it. You deserve to talk about it and talk through it, baby. Let's talk through this. It's not just about, I just want to vent. No. How you about to work through this, right? Do a little work things, you know what I mean? But really, and for me, for the past month, I've had the opportunity to, a little over a month, I think, I've had the opportunity to see a therapist. And in this particular space for the mental health that I'm going to talk about right now has a lot to do with finding a therapist. And my search happened at the end of July, up the beginning of August. I was like, I finally made it urgent, just like I did with my physical health when I talked about the fibroids, I talked about the lump. I had to make it urgent because it had to do with me. And in order for me to move forward, I had to make it a priority. So I committed a day where I would look through the list. I went to psychologytoday.com or .org, one of them. And I think it's .org. And I was able to put in my insurance and put in my information, who I was looking for. And what was really dope about them is that they have photos of the folks, right? They have photos of the folks. But before I got there, here's the thing. I went to another website and it was more private insurance. So I got a referral to go check somebody else out. And that's why I got to Psychology Today. Excuse me. And then going on Psychology Today, it was game changing because I was like, all right, cool. This is like dating. Because, if I'm about to be talking to somebody about me, you know, I gotta be like playing the field. Yeah. So that was my thinking, because a lot of people had said something about it. So there's at one point where I think on social media there was a big rush of therapy talk, therapy. And back in March, I think it was March. Oh my gosh. I was in Cali. Shout out to Cali. And I got to talk about Black mental health. Or March or May. I'm going to remember one of those months. Anywho, and it was really dope because I sat on the panel and got to talk about my perspective as it relates to me and trauma. And so that was really dope. Shout out to Zanetta for that opportunity to go to Inglewood, sit on the panel and be able to just chill and talk about Black mental health. And again, my perspective from the trauma piece. And I know that kind of like impacted me to really consider, okay, the urgency. Anywho, so I picked a day. It was finally like, it kept being on my to-do list. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call, find a therapist. You know, finally I was like, Shantae, today, you're going to find somebody. I really did that. So I spent the entire day starting at 9 a.m. until the end of the day, sending emails, making phone calls, setting up consultations, asking questions. And I finally got down to 2 people. And in getting down to those 2 people, I made appointments with the both of them. And in doing that, it was really cool because in setting those appointments, it was the time that I needed to be able to talk and just feel how they felt. Now, of the 2, one didn't make it, of course. And that's fine. That's the other part. It ain't personal. It's not personal because, well, it is personal. Let me take that back. It's personal because it is personal. It's about you. It's not personal to them though. So as specialists, they understand that when it comes to having a right fit, it matters. So if you're out here thinking about therapy and looking into mental health and really wanting to support your growth, I want to encourage you and empower you to look into a therapist. Try it out. You never know until you try. And when it comes to being, for me, as I work to wrap this up, therapy, we know, again, when there was a rush about therapy and people of color in therapy and how I actually was empowered because I witnessed 2 non-women of color, 2 white women, talking about, I was working on my political correctness. They were talking about going to see the therapist. And it was like a regular conversation. Really? Just a regular. So that means that I was in Cali back in May because that happened in April. Okay, great. So they were just talking about, yeah, you know, my therapist told me not to do boom, 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 but I'm still doing it. And I was like, oh, my therapist told me things all the time. They were just talking, girl. And I'm like, as that goes fast. Okay, this is normal, right? This is normal. And how we can support in our society in normalizing this conversation around therapy and the importance of really working on you and what that looks like when it comes to the trauma that you've experienced, the growth that you want to see, and it being about you. How dope is that somebody is literally being paid to listen to you? Dope. Ha! And game changing. And I'm one to talk about it. And I will talk about it another topic of sort, like really focusing, just the topic will be therapy. But really today, again, the conversation is health. Heavily, I talked about physical health. If you didn't watch it, I'll make sure that it's posted, that you can rewind it back. And just check it out. When I talked about my fibroids, when I talked about the breast cancer scare, and really the emotional impact on that and what that did for me emotionally. I was down. I was depressed. I didn't know how to really work through it. And emotionally, I was drained, and it wasn't fair. And, you know, at the end of the day, what's really important is you and the urgency of you. And so I didn't make myself a priority. And as I continue to grow and learn about the importance of priority and you being a priority, I want to just empower you to go get checked out. Just go get all the tests, and then emotionally supporting the mental health piece. What's really important is that you take the time for you. We'll talk about self-care. We'll talk about self-love. We'll talk about boundaries. For me, It's therapy. And here's the other thing about the therapy too. So therapy for me is going to see someone, a therapist, and my other therapy has turned out to be kickboxing. So your girl be up in the because when do you ever get to just scream, right? When do you ever just get And I think about that too, about, again, going back to the fibroids and the energy that I used to move here and what was building here, because I was keeping everything inside. I was holding it in versus being able to let that bad boy out, and then supporting in a very positive way. Yes. So now I'm going to close out with what I had to say, and I'm going to look at my questions and comments that I got over here. Let me see. Scrolling. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Oh, this is cool. All right. So Mia, you said yes. How do you maximize your time in therapy? That's a great question. When I first started, the first question I asked my therapist was, so how does this work? I really did. Like, I was just like, so what do I do? And she was really cool. She said, you just talk. Just talk about what it is that you're coming in with today, and you just have the conversation. And what I've noticed is that as we developed our relationship, I'm able to come in and I can feel very important. Not important. I've already feel important. I'm VIP, you know what I mean? But I come in with feeling like, okay, something specific I want to talk about and I want to be able to go through. And the way my brain works sometimes, I can kind of like, not necessarily, I could forget. Yes, I can forget. So I write it down. So I'll like write a letter to remember, and I'll read it to my therapist. And then from that, we'll dissect that and then go through that. And it has been game changing. So, that's how I maximize my time in really talking through things that are actually impacting me. I will say it took a couple sessions because, of course, there's building rapport, which is very important in any relationship. So really trying to figure out me and trusting you, how we're going to work through this and really getting to know her. And I asked her questions about herself and really just trying to like get in her business just a little bit because she ain't gonna tell me everything. But just kind of like see who I'm talking with. And then from that, we were able to build it. So now like I feel very comfortable coming in knowing, okay, cool. Once a week, your girl goes, and in going there, I am able to be prepared. Like I go prepared. Like I'm this is the part of who I am too. I'm about preparation. So I'm like, yo, I don't want to forget this. I want to work on this. Let me make sure, because I ain't gonna see you for a week. About a week ago. And then so being able to do that, and that's really important for me. So that is what I would suggest in thinking about maximizing your time. That first session, really getting to know them, and then just being able to just talk and making it sure that at the end of the day, you're not always going to leave resolved, knowing that too. So like today, I went to see my therapist and she hit me with the question, so what do you like about yourself? You just gon' okay. And all I had to do, our time was up. I couldn't talk anymore. It was something for me to think about. And of course, I posed that question out into the world and really like, what do you love about yourself? What do you like about yourself? And, you know, I'm going to talk about that another time, but it definitely gave me some type of feels because I get feely. And I'm like, oh, you know, that's important. Thanks. And she was like, you're welcome. and that was the end of our session. The other thing that I appreciate about my therapist too is that at the beginning of the session, we pray. So her background is in Christianity, and like she offers that up. And so she offered that up and as an opportunity. And I was like, oh, okay. And what I find is that in that moment of my relationship with God, it makes me feel closer. And really in building that relationship. Again, these are things that I did in doing research. Psychology Today was really amazing because it lists different descriptions that the therapist a brief bio for them, and she's been really good to me. So definitely shout out to mental health. I'll definitely have a topic more in talking about therapy because I do believe it's important. And again, it's been talked about from all of our peers and people talking about it. And I done had it. I done had the juice. I got the juice, and the juice is great. The juice of life, the juice of love, the juice of happiness. And I just want to offer that up to you. I'll give it 3 more minutes or so. Shout out to the people that are on and the people that will eventually watch this. Are there any other questions that you have talking about health? Again, physical, emotional, and mental. Understand, self-care is bae. I want you to know that. And I want to thank you for joining me today or tonight for an opportunity to just talk, right? So Let's Talk Life is an episode that's going to come to you bi-weekly. Hey, and you'll be able to talk to me, or I'll talk to you rather, and we'll have a Q&A session, and we'll just be able to talk about life and the topics that I put out there. Because what I want for you to understand is that you are amazing. You are spectacular. You are yes. And you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be free. You deserve to be at peace. And mind you, I'm just Shantae J up in this piece. I'm just me. And I'm growing and I'm learning every single day. I'm human. I make mistakes. I've made mistakes. And I'm still going to make more mistakes. I'm learning from them, growing from them. And I want you to know that you, my friend, you, yes, you, are so beautiful and amazing. Thank you for saying yes to me. Shantae J is out. Stay amazing. See ya.